All right, everyone, I'm out here with the Patriot Caravan, and we are at Canutillo High School. We are at the location where Veronica Escobar will be giving her town hall meeting. We can have see the police presence out here. I believe they're going in. The event is over there. You got police here. If you're not out here at the event, if you got time, come on out. See Veronica Escobar explain to El Paso what's going on. And you'll see the Patriots here protesting Veronica Escobar and what she's, representing, how she's representing El Paso. And let's go talk to some of them and see what they have to say about what's going on. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, live, brother. How are you doing, man?
Good, good. Are we not allowed to go over there or what?
I don't know. Let's see. Hi, how are you?
Fine, and you?
Good, good, good. Good to see you. So what are you out here for this morning? Tell the people live, what are you doing out here? What is this all about? Who are these people here? What is Cowboys and all this American flag? Are you guys protesting Veronica Escobar? What she has to do? What is the issue that we're talking here about? The situation on the border is really
That's the main one.
That's the main one.
The main one.
Yeah. The fact, I know that I was talking to some of you last night, and they were talking about how she keeps attacking Donald Trump.
Tell him, ask him how many he caught last night.
Oh, you were out on the border last night. We're doing election. Yeah, okay. How many immigrants
this morning I've caught about 70 so far.
70
but
this
I didn't
morning.
get them all. They were coming through all night.
Okay, okay, all right. So that's a continue. What area is this?
Monument 1.
Monument 1. That's is that at Sunland Park? Is that the area on Sunland Park?
Yeah.
All right, all right.
And that's just on one small side of the mountain.
Okay, all right.
I don't know what all was going on the other side, but Border Patrol was back and forth all night long.
How long have you been at that spot? You lived there, you
I
said?
lived there for 6 years.
Over the past, since January, how many do you believe you have come through there? If you had to do a rough estimate.
Thousands.
Yeah, it's probably
I couldn't give you an exact number. There's just too damn many of them.
Yeah. And
some days it might not be anybody coming through. The next day I might see a total throughout the day of 500 or 600. It's never the same every day.
Is the Border Patrol active out there often?
They're almost always. The only time they're not there is if they're transporting illegals to their station to process. Otherwise, there's always an agent.
Do we have any idea how many of them are being sent back with the groups that are coming? I know you hear a large number, 100,000, but how many? Any numbers yet from them? We don't know.
We don't know how many.
Okay, okay.
I have no idea.
All right. All right. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going, man? Doing good, good. Doing good, good, good.
Good.
Out here documenting.
Yeah, likewise, man.
This is great, man. It's good to see the people moving in action, you know? It's nice to see.
Yeah. Well, they were giving them hell right now about the horses.
Oh, really?
The
They're not allowed
campus
to?
police.
Oh, they're the one that had the droppings over here.
Hey, Jeff.
Well, not only that, but they said, no, you guys can't bring them over there. You gotta.
Oh, you can't bring the
lock
horses
down.
over there? Oh, I see.
Something like that. Yeah.
All right.
giving them hell.
How you guys doing? Good morning. Beautiful horses, man.
Thank you, sir.
What brings you out here? I saw you outside last night with the group last night.
We've actually made a couple of events with Anthony and formed kind of a pretty good little bond. We got the same beliefs going on. We need a border wall. We need to protect our country and our Constitution. So we've been at some events with Anthony, and he's invited us along and helped us out with some fundraising. Passing our group along, and we're just happy to be here.
And what group do you represent?
PAC.
Okay,
It
PAC.
stands for Patriotic American Cowboys.
Okay, and where are you guys out of? Where are you from?
Most of us are from New Mexico. There's 11 founding members.
Okay.
One of them's from Maryland, Missouri, and then the other 9 are from New Mexico.
Okay.
Kylan, my daughter here, and I are from Carlsbad.
Carlsbad, okay.
We have Sean Cummings, he's kind of halfway between Carlsbad and Artesia. Lance is from Ruidoso.
Hey, Lance.
We have
Welcome to El Paso.
Joe and Kim Skaggs and Hanson. Walker Akers is from Las Cruces.
Okay.
Clay and Tasha Donaldson are from Cliff.
All right. Wow. So all over New Mexico. That's good.
A lot of us are right around the border, so this border wall is big to us.
Yeah. So are you guys expanding groups, bringing new groups together in different parts of New Mexico? Is that happening?
Well, We were part of another group, and we kind of broke away from it to do more than just political stuff.
Sure.
So this group is new in age. We started it in March.
Okay.
This is actually our second official ride.
Sure.
Austin was our first.
Okay.
And we're just hoping to unite horse owners.
Sure.
And little America.
Yeah.
Because that's where a lot of the votes are.
Yeah.
And there's some that don't get out and poll, and they draw attention.
Yeah,
Horses
they do. They're beautiful.
attention.
They're beautiful creatures, man. I know. I've ridden a horse one time in my life.
The American cowboy, or the cowboy in general, has been around for years.
Oh yeah.
Every country has had a cowboy of some type. It may not be called the same thing.
Sure.
Mexico calls theirs the vaquero.
Yeah.
You see the same kind of aspect of it, and it's a great way to bring attention to what we're doing.
All right. Well, good, man. Welcome to El Paso, guys. And
thank you.
Thank you.
And your name was?
My name is Ben Carnevale. I usually go where the happenings are and start recording. Sir?
Hank Webb.
Hank Webb. Good to meet you, Hank.
Good to meet you.
All right, guys. Well, I was with the group last night out there, and they got tossed out. They got tossed out for relatively nothing, really. It was a shame.
4 individuals were more important than the 30 of us.
Yeah.
Or 50.
Hey, that's business today, right? I guess.
It seems like they lost out a lot of business by throwing the group out.
Well, I think a lot of them left without paying tabs because they got thrown out. So they lost some money there. I mean, just a shame.
Are you a freelance reporter?
I'm an individual Facebook just guy. I go out and I record things and I go to different. I was at the Trump rally. I was at the Beto O'Rourke rally.
I didn't see you there. I was there for 4 hours standing in line.
I was inside. I had a pass, so I was in there and I was recording. I recorded the whole thing. You know, it was amazing what I was able to put on video. It was the opening prayer. You don't ever see that when they broadcast it. But it was
that made a lot of points with me.
Yeah, it really did, and I was happy to see that they did that. So that was nice. Hank Webb, there you go. All right. Fantastic.
Hank, were you any relation to Harlan?
No, but I
all right, guys, let me go ahead and go make my rounds here.
I know Carla. I had racehorse. She won 4 places.
Who do we have over here? What crowd do we have over here? How you doing?
Hello.
Hi. Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hi.
How are you guys? How are you guys doing?
Good. How
Good.
are you?
All right. What are you doing out here? Come on.
First of all, who are you with?
I am Ben Carnevale. I am me.
Okay.
I am with myself. Yeah. How are you guys doing this morning? It's getting warm out here. It was cold last night. Yeah. Where's the signs?
They told us not to bring them.
So there was not to bring the signs today.
Yeah, and I made a real pretty one.
Yeah.
It had a heart. And then it said love, legal migrants.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's nice.
And it had a flower.
So what are we doing? Are we protesting here? Veronica Escobar, are you guys going to be able to go in the event?
Are we? I don't know.
You don't know if you're allowed to go in the event or not? All right. Well, let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
All right. And okay. I'll talk to you guys later on.
Yep.
I'll catch up with you guys. Let me go see if I don't get thrown out of the event.
I know.
I'm just documenting this thing. Yeah. All right. Good morning, guys. Good morning. How are you guys? All right. Let me see your shirt, sir. Yeah, I've seen that one on the internet. This one I see. Yeah. Anthony's crew. Good. All right. Good job. All right. Well.
Hey, turn your volume up on the mic. Other side. Hey. Pressure. You have to press the. All right, so we're about to head inside, guys. I know we want to hang out and socialize out here, but
all right, I think as Anthony said, they're about to head inside. Let me check my battery here. Oops, sorry guys. I got 94%. I don't know if I'm allowed to bring a bag in here. I doubt it. But I think I should be okay. I don't need my extra battery pack. But let me go here and walk over here to go inside and see how the entrance happens. I don't know what Beto's team or Veronica's team's gonna say, but it is what it is. You know, let's see. This is a democracy. This is the voice of the people on both sides, and it is a difficult situation right now. So we gotta let democracy run its course. Morning, officer.
Morning, sir.
We got film reporters out here. I think this is the way to go in. I hope I'm allowed to record inside. Let's see. All right, we got an officer standing watch out here. 2 officers now. I think the event's going to start in about, I don't know. Morning, officers. Morning. Is there any rules about filming in here? All right. Try to see. It is about to start in a moment. All right. Signs are prohibited, you see here. So we're going to walk in and see how this goes. All right. We got an auditorium here. Morning. How are you?
Good yourself?
Doing good, good.
I'm here with Fresenius Kidney Care. Just here to help educate patients on ways to prevent getting kidney disease, but also if you do have it or know someone that does have it, the different options that there are, because a lot of people think it means having to go in center. Now we do have options to do it at home. And, our recent studies have shown that actually home dialysis has better outcomes than actually going in center, and so that's a big motivator for us to make sure people are aware of the different types of dialysis that can be done if you need it.
Sure. Are you going to be here to the end of the event also?
I will.
I'll grab something on the way out.
I appreciate it.
All right, good job.
Thank you.
And hi, who are you with?
We're here with Centro San Vicente, a family health center, and we are here to let them know that we are here to assist them even if they don't have insurance. We go ahead and help them. We also assist them with doing state applications like Medicaid, CHIP. So we're here to.
So who's the general audience of this? Who's the general recipients of this benefits?
We have mostly we have a mixed variety.
Okay.
So we do get a mixed variety. We have people with insurance, people with no insurance, and then we have the people that have the state benefits.
All right. And you're going to be here after also?
And we're going to be here after the.
All right. Well,
yes,
thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Just sign in?
Yes, sir. Do you want to ask a question?
Oh, okay. Let me just pick it. Does it matter? All right, guys, we have to sign in. Let me sign in here. Oh, email.
Hi, sir. Good morning. You will please sign it.
It's not to ask a question, but just for attendance?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
All right, thank you. All right, we signed in. Now we're waiting to see the arrival of the Patriot group, and they are on their way now. Let's see what we can see here. They're on their way. Anthony's leading the way. All right, let's see how we go. We got the agenda here. All right, here comes the ruckus. Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for hosting this. I appreciate it. It's a good spot. I like it. I've never been to this place.
No, we're trying to hit really far away places.
Yeah.
And thank you. Appreciate
Yeah, this is great. So do you guys intend? Have you guys had a town hall in the Northeast El Paso yet?
You know, we're getting there. We've had one in close to Northeast on Dyer at Project Vida. We've had another at Burgess, at El Dorado in the Far East. So we're making our way across.
Okay,
El
well,
Paso.
that's great. Good.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for Congresswoman Escobar 6.
All All right, we got a crowd in here. The Patriots are.
Our town hall will include a presentation from the Congresswoman. After her presentation,
the Patriots are signing in right now. They're getting ready to start. They were not allowed to bring their signs in. The signs are prohibited. I guess it's too much of a distraction. But we got them coming in now. Let's see how this goes.
How are you, sir?
Doing great. Good. Could you get a gentleman running for sheriff? I recognize you. So tell us your name.
Carlos Carrillo.
Carrillo, and you're running for a sheriff of El Paso County.
Yes, right now I'm working for my school district, so I can't really.
Got you. Okay. All right. Well, we are following you on your Facebook page, so we're looking and watching closely. All right. Good luck to you, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
How you doing, sir?
Sir, no, I'm just double checking. Well, for the second amendment, I'm just not taking my gun. I don't have mine yet. Yes, no, that's what I mean. It's it.
Take care. I'll give it to you. All right, the Patriot Caravan is walking in. They're getting ready to do the opening of the ceremony there.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early night what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so glad.
You may be seated. Now, will you please join me in welcoming Congresswoman Veronica Escobar.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, and thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful to be your Congresswoman and so grateful to have this opportunity to chat with all of you. Let's wait a couple minutes while folks who just walked in have an opportunity to sit so that we can all focus on the program. And welcome, everyone. Glad to have you. I want to first recognize the 82nd Airborne. If you will please help me in giving them a round of applause to thank them for their service and for being here today to help us kick off this meeting. Let's also give a round of applause to Abner Astudillo, our national anthem singer. Abner, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. And I want to thank the folks at Cantillo High School who have been so generous in helping us and making sure that we have a great environment here today that is safe and that is open to civic engagement and civil dialogue. So first, I want to thank Teresa Clapsaddle, the principal. Let's give her a round of applause, please. I know she's here today. Also want to thank Jennifer Romero, Principal Secretary, Mr. Ramirez, the theater teacher, for opening up this great theater and helping us today. And then also want to thank our law enforcement who's out here and who's helping keep us safe every single day. The Cantillo ISD Police, El Paso Police Department, the County Sheriff's Office, and the El Paso County Constable Team, Precinct Number 1. Let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you. Okay, so this is our 6th town hall meeting. And again, so grateful for the opportunity to be able to talk about the issues that are important to El Pasoans. As we've done with every town hall, again, everyone at the very beginning was informed of sort of the rules of the road. We want great public dialogue. We want positive public dialogue. We are going to disagree at times, but we are going to respect one another, and we're going to make sure that we understand the environment we're in. And we changed our format after the first town hall meeting. Instead of having people wait in long lines, we have the sign-up sheet. So I hope that you all signed up at the front if you want to have access to the microphone. If you didn't, there's still time to sign up. If we are not able to get to all of the questions, if you signed up late, we will circle back with you. So there's a guarantee that you will be able to have an opportunity to talk with us either here or through our office if we don't get through everybody on the list. Also, FIFAS has mentioned 2 minutes, and then we'll answer your questions. You'll hear the little beep. Today's town hall, we are focusing on healthcare as we advertise. And I want to cover, and I'm going to give you an update on everything happening, and then I know that there's a lot of folks here who want to talk a little bit about the border issues, so we will talk about that. I'll do a recap on what's happening with that as well, and then we'll open it up to Q&A. So let's begin our PowerPoint. I can tell you that based on not just what we're hearing at town hall meetings, through phone calls, through emails, through engagement at events and in community meetings, healthcare is still the #1 priority that we're hearing about from El Pasoans. And there is a lot at stake when it comes to El Pasoans healthcare. The concerns that we have heard about, we've enumerated here on this slide. #1 is the lack of affordable health insurance options. And so I've heard from too many El Pasoans who say that even when they're trying to buy into a plan, the plan is too expensive, the deductibles are too high, the out-of-pocket expenses are too high, sometimes because of surprise billing in hospitals, the cost of prescription drugs. I have even heard from El Pasoans who have health insurance who have told me that they still have to go to Ciudad Juarez to buy cheaper alternatives. The very same drug that is available literally 15 minutes away at a much cheaper cost. And I get asked over and over again, why can't we buy prescription drugs in our country, the same drugs at a lower price? I've also heard a lot about the shortage of mental health care providers, not just for the civilian population, but I've heard about this obviously a lot with our military population as well. Shortage of healthcare professionals in general, and I will tell you all of that is getting worse with attacks on the Affordable Health Care Act. We have over 1 million people in Texas enrolled, about 44,000 people in El Paso, and this is without the expansion of the Affordable Care Act. This is just those components that were made available to everyone. Okay, next slide. So what are we doing in Congress? I can tell you about what we're doing in the House, and healthcare has been a significant priority for us in the House of Representatives. So in the short term, what we have been focusing on is protecting what has been at risk and what has been under attack so far. Our goal over the long term is to make sure that every single American has access to affordable health care, make sure everyone has coverage, make sure prescription drugs are within the reach of every single American. But while we're working on that, we also, in the short term, have to do what we can to protect what we've got. So we've worked on protecting coverage for those with pre-existing conditions. We've worked on stabilizing the Affordable Care Act, drug pricing transparency, boosting funding for ACA enrollment outreach, which you all know was cut tremendously by the administration, increase funding for the Navigator programs, bolster state-based exchanges, and what we're going to be working on in the coming 2 months, is Medicare drug price negotiation and surprise hospital billing. Okay, so I want to share with you some of the bills that we have co-sponsored, that I have co-sponsored. Medicare Negotiation and Competitive Licensing Act to negotiate directly with pharmaceutical companies. We believe that the best way to achieve that reduction in prices for all Americans is to have the power to negotiate. Medicare for All, and I want to tell you all, I want to tell you why I signed on to the Medicare for All Act. It may not come to fruition, and it may be something that is a little bit out of reach for now, but I wanted to place a marker for where I believe we should go as a country in terms of health care for everyone. I have shared with my colleagues in Congress, and I've shared with advocates here at home who are advocating for Medicare for All, that I support it, but as we get better ideas along the way, I'm going to jump on any and every plan that helps expand access to affordable care for folks. I don't care what it's called, I don't care who sponsors it, we have to expand that access for all Americans. Also, I signed on to the Protecting Pre-Existing Conditions and Making Healthcare More Affordable Act. We all know that pre-existing conditions and protecting Americans who have pre-existing conditions should be a priority. We all have family members with pre-existing conditions. We may each have pre-existing conditions. Some kids are born with pre-existing conditions. And for too long, that has been a loophole for insurance companies, a way for them to avoid funding health care for people who have those pre-existing conditions. So that is critical to making sure that everyone is protected. Next slide. We have also put in appropriations requests to increase funding for family planning, increasing funding for mental health programs, robust funding for the health center program, funding for children's hospitals graduate medical education program. Just to note, since we're talking about children's hospitals, I received a briefing the other day. You all know that we built our children's hospital, the very first standalone children's hospital on the U.S.-Mexico border. It has now gone a couple of quarters, and it struggled for a little while, we know that. It has now had 2 or 3 quarters in making profits. They're big, yes, thank you. They are now profitable. And the challenge,
we're going to verify that statement. I don't know if I believe that's profitable
is that their volumes are so
for the
high,
hospital.
they're having to
I got to go
to
look into that one.
And so that is a beautiful challenge to have, that children, vulnerable kids, their moms, their dads are finally able to access healthcare here in El Paso instead of having to go to San Antonio, Dallas, other places, Houston, other places in Texas to access healthcare. And it became more profitable sooner than we had anticipated. So we're working on making sure that they get some graduate medical education funding or for their program, their GME program, and increasing funding for lupus research. Next slide. Also, asked House leadership to reauthorize the Special Diabetes Program, which helps bring funds to the program. Delay cuts to what's called DISH. It's a funding mechanism that helps offset costs to hospitals and healthcare providers, and it helps essentially fund people who are uninsured or underinsured. And we unfortunately have far too many in El Paso. If the DISH cuts go through, El Paso area hospitals would lose about $16 million in funding. And what happens when hospitals lose funding like this is that they begin to shut down programs that aren't profitable. And so if you are suffering from healthcare issues, but it's not making money for hospitals, they don't see the benefit in continuing those programs. It's vital that we continue DISH funding and other funding from the federal government. We also asked the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services to expand the number of languages in outreach material. We asked U.S. Trade Representative Lighthizer for revisions to what I've called NAFTA 2.0. It's the USMCA program. I've talked about this before. In the new trade deal, there is a component that worries all of us on the House side. And the aspect that is worrisome about that USMCA is that essentially it creates limitations on our ability to lower the cost of prescription drugs. So those of us who are committed to lowering the cost of prescription drugs have told the administration that we want a trade deal. We definitely want, believe me, in El Paso, a quarter of our jobs are linked to trade. Trade is critical to our community. It's critical to the state economy. It's critical for the supply chain that creates jobs in other parts of the country. But if they tie our hands on prescription drugs, we will not be able to deliver on our commitment to the people to lower the cost of prescription drugs. So we have asked Ambassador Lighthizer, who is the negotiator for the USMCA, to remove that provision from the trade deal. We have spoken to the Canadians, we have spoken to the Mexicans. Neither partner asked for that limitation on prescription drug pricing. So our communication with the ambassador has been, if Canada doesn't want it, if Mexico doesn't want it, and it's only the US that wants to keep drug prices high, you will get us to yes if you take that out. It is imperative that we lower the cost of prescription drugs. So we've made that communication to the administration and to the ambassador. Also, as you all know, the Trump administration is trying to undo the entire Affordable Care Act, which again would undo protections that all of us believe are very necessary. If we undo it, that means if you have a pre-existing condition, your health insurance plan doesn't have to cover it. That means your kids no longer get coverage until they're 26. That means the caps will come back. If you're very, very ill, the minute you hit that cap and you get beyond that cap, you're on your own. Insurance companies aren't required to cover you. These are protections that we believe are vital to Americans, especially to the middle class. And so we worked to intervene, we voted to intervene in that lawsuit to fight to protect the Affordable Care Act. I'm with a lot of folks who believe that we need to address weaknesses and vulnerabilities in it, gaps in it that don't expand coverage, but I want us to put our energy into fixing it, not dismantling it. Okay? All right, and this is a list of our co-sponsored legislation that is specific to veterans and others. So, and this is actually just a very brief snapshot. We have a long list of pieces of legislation that we sponsored, co-sponsored, helped co-write. All of that you can find on our website. But this is a quick snapshot. Let's move forward. Okay, so I serve on two committees, the Judiciary Committee and the Armed Services Committee. So I want to give you a couple quick highlights about our committee work just since our last town hall. We held the first hearing on the Equal Rights Amendment in 36 years. It was a great hearing. We also, as you all might have read, I don't know if you've heard about this, but the public got a copy of the redacted version of the Mueller report. If you have not read it, and it's a long read, it's a lot to get through, but I think every American needs to read the Mueller report. Every American needs to understand, and I want to pause here to give you some context. And I said this during our Judiciary Committee hearing. The United States of America was attacked by a foreign adversary. And those attacks continue to this day. I just received this week a classified briefing on Capitol Hill about Russia. They are not our friend. They are trying to hurt us. They are trying to get into this country. And they are trying to sow division to make us weak. You don't have to take my word for it. Take the entire intelligence community's word for it. Not only were we under attack as a country, but a campaign, the current administration's campaign knew about that attack, welcomed that attack because it was intended to help them in the election, did not alert law enforcement about that attack, and then lied about the attack. Then once federal law enforcement began investigating, they did everything they could to obstruct the investigation into the attack. And so we feel very strongly on our House Judiciary Committee that not only does Congress deserve to know the full truth, but really the American public needs to know the full truth. So we asked for the full unredacted version of the Mueller report along with all the underlying evidence. And we understand that some of that may be classified information in the sense that it might be privileged, but we want to see it first to determine whether that's the case or not. After 2 months of trying to negotiate that, we were finally told no. We tried to negotiate, give accommodations even after that. We were still told no. Then we were told that there would be a blanket executive privilege that would be exercised. I think if there's nothing to hide about the report, there should be no reason to fear transparency. And so we asked for the report. We also asked William Barr, our Attorney General, to testify before Congress, before the Judiciary Committee. Neither of those things happened. We issued a subpoena, and we voted this past week in favor of holding the AG in contempt for denying the American people access to the full unredacted report. Thank you. And here's what's going to happen next. So there are other subpoenas that are being issued by other committees, and there will probably be other votes to hold other individuals in contempt. What we are planning on doing is bundling all of those into one vote to have one single vote on the House floor. This has to go to the Rules Committee. From the Rules Committee, then it goes to the House floor. We are hoping to get to that vote because ultimately it's the House. We're recommending, we voted on a resolution. We're hoping it will get to the House floor by the end of the month. So stay tuned on that. Armed Services, we are wrapping up our annual what are called posture hearings with all of the secretaries and the commanders. We have had oversight hearings on medical malpractice issues. In fact, we had a very powerful hearing recently on medical malpractice. Members of the military who end up using healthcare, military healthcare, and if something goes wrong, they cannot sue their physician. They cannot sue the federal government. And so we heard testimony from survivors and people who lost spouses as a result of medical malpractice. And so our committee is working on changing that so that families, military families, have the right to due process and have access to due process. And one of the members of the hearing, and I don't know if you can see her, but she's the second from the right with the dark hair and bangs. Her sister lives in El Paso. And so I had the sibling of an El Pasoan whose husband died. And it was a very, very painful hearing. But that's been one of our oversight hearings. Army modernization, we had that hearing. I spoke at length about Fort Bliss and the needs of our military installation in order to ensure modernization, readiness, resiliency as well. Nuclear priorities, we had that hearing. Coming up, we also had a subcommittee markup as we're preparing for what's called the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. That will happen next month. The NDAA is a very intense process of funding both mandated areas of the military and non-mandated. And we have been working together in our committee to begin to craft that, to offer our amendments, to start putting all of that through the pipeline. And so that will be our focus in June on the House Armed Services Committee. Also in the district, I have spoken before about the need to utilize two of our greatest assets for economic development. And our two best assets, two of many, many great assets, UTEP and Fort Bliss. And UTEP has an incredible engineering program. We have a pipeline of talent second to none. That talent is being quickly recruited by defense industry manufacturers like Lockheed Martin and others. In fact, they will come and interview our kids. The last time that I spoke to the head of the department, he said 31 job offers were given in one day by Lockheed Martin to our UTEP seniors, which is fantastic, but many of those young people have told me they would like those jobs here in El Paso. They are very much committed to this region, very committed to their families. They want to be a part of making El Paso better, more competitive. So we've been working with Lockheed Martin, we've been working with UTEP, we've been working with Fort Bliss on ways to brainstorm around how we make that happen. How we make El Paso a key component of the supply chain for everything that is needed by the defense industry. STEM graduates, the science technology graduates, are slowing down. We're not graduating as many as we used to as a country. There's a real shortage. And UTEP is playing a key role in that pipeline with the talent that we're graduating. So we're looking for ways, and this is a photo from one of those meetings that we had. We brought the top Fort Bliss leadership to UTEP. We spent an entire morning brainstorming, talking about this, planning, and I think we're going to have some great news this summer. And so that will be to be continued. Also, I delivered the State of the Congress address and would love for you to check it out online, where I talked about the various updates from DC and what we're doing here at home as well. We're working with El Dorado students. This is a photo from last week. At our last town hall meeting, one of the great things about connecting with the community is at our last town hall meeting, we held it at El Dorado High School. It was not on a weekend, it was on a weekday. And there were a number of students who signed up to speak and who stayed afterwards to talk to me. Their number one area of concern was the environment and climate change. And they wanted to find a path for their energy, for their concern, for their fears, for their hopes, for what they wanted to do. They wanted to pitch in. So we brought those kids together. We're going to be working on an environmental summit together. We think we'll probably do it sometime in the fall, and we will have it in conjunction with these great kids, talented, smart kids who want to make a positive difference in the world. We also hosted our first congressional art competition, and had over 100 entries. We worked with high schools from all over the district, and Sarah Murillo was the winner. That's her. It's hard to see her painting. It's a beautiful, beautiful painting. A take on the label for Chocolate de la Abuelita, and it said Mi Abuelita, and that actually was an image of her grandmother. And her grandmother is holding the painting. Her grandmother was the subject of that painting, and it was a big, wonderful surprise for them. We surprised them at Bel Air High School last week. And that painting will hang in the tunnel underneath the Capitol building, along with hundreds of other great pieces of art from high schools all over the country. So very proud of that, very excited about that. Okay, next slide. All right, want to say, since I know we have a lot of interest in the border situation and BFAS, I'm going to give a quick update on that. BFAS will then call out people 3 at a time, so that folks 3 at a time can come line up, and you'll get to ask your question. I'll answer your question. Again, if you signed up late and we don't get to you, we will call you back. We will definitely connect with you. So what's happening on the border? We all know, and actually, you know what? I've done this in other conversations, and I'm going to do it again here. Let's focus on what we can agree on first. I think there's no one who is happy about the current situation. I have yet to speak to anyone who thinks that the current situation of the increasing numbers of families arriving at our front door, I haven't spoken to anyone who thinks that that's a good thing. I think virtually all of us want to see a solution. I haven't met anyone who doesn't want to find a solution, a path forward. I would like to stem that flow. We may have different motivations. I want to stem that flow because I believe that families should have the ability and the choice to live in their homeland safely, securely, and that I know that is their preference. I have spoken to enough of these asylum seekers over the course of several months to know that for them this is a moment of desperation. This is not something that they have chosen to do lightly. And when I've asked them, if you have a safe and secure homeland, would you prefer to stay there? To a person, they tell me yes. The situation for them is desperate and dire, and they have felt that they have no other option. So we can agree that we want to stem the flow, that this is not a good circumstance for anybody involved. I can tell you, I know our volunteers are exhausted. I know our agents are at their wits' end. I know resources are running thin. And unfortunately, I also feel like this is an area that creates deep division in our country. And that is deeply unfortunate as well. So let's talk about what could work and what has worked. So we know that when things are stable in their countries, they stay. We know that because there are countries that are stabilized all over Latin America where we're not seeing numbers, the increasing numbers. We know we've been seeing numbers from El Salvador decrease because things have become more stable there. So we know for a fact that when countries are stabilized, migration drops. We've seen that with Mexico as well, historically, right? So what has worked in the past? Number one, what we've seen work, and I've arrived at these conclusions from talking to a number of subject matter experts, members of Congress who've been there, both sides of the aisle actually, for a long time, as well as research. So we know that humanitarian aid has worked. We know that. I've seen the reports showing that it's worked and helped stabilize countries. That funding has been stalled by the administration. Number two, we know that programs like having processing centers within their countries has worked. We know that's worked. That was eliminated by this administration. We know that we need more judges in order to expedite this process. The funding that we provided has installed by this administration. So the frustrating part for those of us in Congress is appropriations that we've given for things that have worked in the past have been removed, and programs that have worked have been removed. Here's what else we know. We know that El Paso is the #1 sector right now for the increasing numbers of Central American families. And the vast majority of the El Paso sector has a wall. So we know that walls don't prevent people from requesting asylum. We also know that policies that promote cruelty, like family separation, not only do they not work, they create more chaos. We also know on the security side that if we don't get our agents back to doing what they need to be doing, that's not good. So I have long advocated that we hire civilians to perform functions that don't need to be performed by law enforcement. The CBP has a new commissioner, Acting Commissioner John Sanders. I have spoken with him twice, met with him yesterday, had a great conversation with him, and many of the suggestions that are coming from members and from the community are being implemented. And so I'm hoping that looking at civilians for processing, getting law enforcement back to law enforcement will assist as well. We also know that technology works at the ports of entry, talking about security. The president's budget cuts technology at our ports from $500 million to $50 million. So we are doing our best to promote things we know work. It's frustrating to see those workable solutions be cut, eliminated, taken off the table. We are working on the House side at legislation. I am very concerned that no matter how hard we work, no matter what we produce, on the Senate side, it will not be taken up. We have passed bill after bill after bill after bill. Gun safety, Violence Against Women Act, prescription drug pricing, you name it, we've done it in 4 months, and all of those bills are at the doorstep of Senator Mitch McConnell, who refuses to hold a hearing. And so we are working on a legislative fix. I am afraid that even though we get it passed in the House, it will be added to the pile of bills that Senator McConnell refuses to take up. So we are working not just on funding, but on legislative solutions on the House side. We've been having conversations about a border supplementary bill on the House side. And we are going to keep working towards solutions that we believe are humanitarian, strategic, and that embrace the values that many of us hold dear. So that's my update on that. I want to now get to your questions so that we can get to the list of folks. And again, just very happy to have all of you here. Thank you so much. Be fast. Thank you. We can share a mic.
Hello? Okay, now I got it. Hello? Okay, y'all can hear me? We do have a number of signups, so like Gordon mentioned, we would try and get to everyone's question. If we're not able to, we will be following that next week from the office and getting in touch with everybody that did sign up, and we do have a number of signups here. One thing I do want to mention, as you all arrived, you notice there was a couple of information tables out in the front. There's 2 healthcare organizations that are here. So after the town hall, if you have a chance to stop by, it's Fresenius Kidney Care and Centro San Vicente are here to provide information. So if you all wanted some information on any healthcare organizations, you're more than welcome to stop by at the table. They'll be here after the town hall is run. I'm going to call up our first three speakers. We have Fernando Garcia, Senandra Nasser, and Laura Murillo. And you do have 2 minutes to ask your questions, so if we can have the first questioner, Fernando Garcia, go ahead and ask your question. Where's Fernando? Go ahead, you have 2 minutes.
Okay. First, I thank you for your thoughtful mission. What you've been doing in Congress and even before Congress, it is helping our community. So we know where your heart and where your mind is. Unfortunately, the situation at the border has become unreasonable and dangerous already. I mean, this is not only about finding common ground and solutions, which we totally agree with. We have more than 20 years working with law enforcement, with city council members, with police departments, with members of Congress. So nobody can accuse Border Network not to actually reach out to all of these instances. But what we're talking about is what kind of solutions we are providing to the so-called crisis and what kind of crisis we are talking about. It is important to say that it's a lie, it's a distortion that we have a national security crisis. That is simply not true. And people is being lied, not only here in El Paso, but in the nation. And we have armed civilian groups coming to El Paso region, responding to Trump's call of defending our border. Defending our border of what? Of children? Mothers? To bring the military to the border? This is the picture that the world, the nation is having. Children, mothers, and armed guards on the border. That is the picture. There's a war against immigrants and refugees. The solution, again, when they talk about solutions and they talk about hate, and they promote hate, xenophobia, there are groups coming from outside of us.
Get to the question.
Just a reminder, we encourage a positive environment for dialogue. Anyone behaving in a disrupting manner will be asked to leave the event.
When we have groups coming from us to promote something that we are not, we're a safe community that engage with every sector. We have communities, armed groups coming down to tell us that we're in a dangerous community. That is a lie. Just wrapping up to say that very sadly we had to cancel a very historic event that is Hugs Not Walls. And Hugs Not Walls, you know, you've been there, and that is because of the transition in intolerance at the border, and you will hear that today. Thank you for your work.
Thank you. So there was my question, Ingrid, but I do want to just respond again. I think it's so important for us to remember what we talked about at the beginning of the meeting, which is we want to find solutions together that are workable. We want to work together. I think working apart, disparately or separately, doesn't solve anything and it doesn't help anyone. And so hopefully, I do believe that this community can lead in terms of the solutions. My office has helped organize 8 congressional delegation visits to El Paso. We've had over 30 members of Congress come through El Paso in just this first quarter. We want members of Congress to see what's going on. We want to work together to find legislative and appropriations fixes. We want people to bring their brain power and their ideas and put them to work. Thank you. All right.
Okay. Next question. You have 2 minutes.
So I was part of one of the families who's married in this upcoming event that was ultimately canceled. And it was canceled due directly because of the narrative that has been pushed by this administration that really aims at instilling paranoia and fear on the nation. And ultimately, this narrative has come to define not just immigrants and immigration, but also our border communities. And I think that that is a very powerful tool that's being used against us. And as a teacher, I teach my students that the word has power. Because ultimately, words shape our reality and they shape how we speak or understand an issue. And we're seeing that politicians are taking this narrative and using it as a way to develop policies. Policies that will ultimately affect our communities directly. They're going to affect border communities like El Paso, San Diego, Brownsville. All of those very vibrant and communities are going to be affected by these policies that are being influenced by a narrative that isn't true. And so my question is, how do we as a community come together, take that narrative, dismantle it, and build a narrative that accurately represents who we are as a community that is strong, that has strong ties to each other, to its law enforcement, that has built trust throughout years. How do we come together and rebuild and reshape that narrative so that politicians can create policies that accurately reflect our values?
Thank you. You know, so that's been a challenge for El Paso for a long time. As you all know, for years and years, our community as a dangerous place. In fact, there was during one of the conventions several years ago, over a decade ago, our own Governor Rick Perry was on the national stage.
I think you all can hear me. So we had at one point our own governor on the national stage telling the world that bombs were going off in El Paso, Texas. We all knew that was not true. We know for 20 years at least, we have been among the safest communities in the nation. When we allow that narrative that you talked about to persist and to go unchallenged, it's not good for anybody. It's not good for the community, and then it makes people in other parts of the country fear us. And much of what I am concerned about with this whole conversation is that it is rooted in fear. And that's part of why it's important to me to bring legislators. I just had lunch, in fact, 2 days ago with 2 Republican members of my Judiciary Committee. And there are many of us, especially in the freshman class, who are on both sides of the aisle, who are wanting to find a path forward together. And when we sat and broke bread together a couple days ago, I said to them, look, I really want you all to come to my community. I want you to come to El Paso. And every member of Congress who's come to El Paso that we've invited,
Every single member that we've invited, I've invited every member of Congress. Republican, Independent, Democrat, I don't care. I want you to come to El Paso. I want us to engage in this dialogue. I want you to know the truth and see the truth. Every single member who's come through has said, you have such a beautiful, safe community. Do we have challenges? We do. But one of them even told me, oh my gosh, like staying here downtown, I was walking alone at night and never felt afraid at one point. And her image of the border had been shaped by a narrative far away from here. And again, this is not to diminish true challenges that we face, but it's as soon as you can get to a point where you are addressing real challenges and you're doing it in a way that exemplifies the values that our country is built on, then we can find common ground more quickly. I'm working very hard to continue to bring members. I'm going to keep chatting with those people. If I can even get just those 2 folks here. And I told them, we spend one day with law enforcement, with CBP, Border Patrol. We spend more time on the law enforcement side than we do on the advocacy side. I don't want anybody to accuse me of trying to give a biased presentation. But then they also sit, everyone who's come through here, not everyone, but most of them, depending on time, has met with an asylum-seeking family. I want them to hear from these families themselves. I want them to tour the hospitality centers. I want them to speak to their lawyers. I want them to speak to human rights organizations, in addition to law enforcement. And so it's taken us a long time to get to this what I consider a very dark place in American history. It's going to take us a long time to move away from it.
Okay, I think this one works. Let me call up the next three speakers, Margarita Arbizo, Laura Del Rio, and Robert Heyman. Go ahead.
Good morning.
My name is Gabby. My name is Gabby, and I'm 7 years old, and wife of it. And then I'm born and working. My dream was to see my dad.
Oh, I'm so sorry that happened. She asked why the Hudson Walls event was canceled. I don't have anything to do with it. Like, my office doesn't run it. And I heard about it, when you all heard about it. We'll definitely look into it. I'm so sorry. Thank you for being here.
How about that one?
It takes a lot of courage to stand up and tell people and talk. Thank you for your question.
Buenos días. Buenos días. Mi preocupación es ahorita todo lo que está pasando en el voto. Sabemos que nosotros tenemos un evento, Abrazos con Muros, el cual está siendo afectado por toda esta situación.
She says, good morning. The purpose of my question is to find out what's happening with the Hudson Walls event.
Lo que me preocupa es toda esta gente que está viniendo, ¿verdad? Porque sabemos que ellos pudieran tener un proceso legal justo. Entonces, ahorita con esta administración, ¿verdad? Se está perdiendo todo esto, ¿verdad? Que atraviesa la Constitución.
She's concerned about the fact that the folks who are arriving, the families who are arriving, are what they want for them is a just process that they believe has been abandoned by this administration.
Y que a través de la Constitución, pues, cada persona tiene derechos.
In addition to the Constitution, or under the Constitution, rather, everyone has certain rights.
Entonces, yo quisiera saber, ¿verdad? Si usted puede hacer algo para que todas estas personas tengan un proceso legal y en vez de estar a través del bordo cruzando, ¿verdad? Sino que crucen por donde es, ¿verdad? En los puentes.
She'd like to know if there's anything I can do to make sure that people don't cross between ports, but cross at the ports with a more just process. Gracias por su pregunta. Voy a responder en español y luego en inglés. Estoy de acuerdo y la administración está efectivamente asegurando que la gente tiene que cruzar en áreas fuera de los puentes y sería mejor y, como se dice, más justo si podrían presentarse en los puentes donde hay más agentes, donde hay más recursos, donde el proceso sería, podemos invertir dinero para asegurar que tengamos todo posible para que el proceso, tener el proceso justamente. So I agree with her. I think the challenge that we have seen, and this again goes to the frustration that I and others have felt, what we have seen is as asylum seekers are presenting themselves or arriving at the ports of entry, and we've heard the administration broadcast widely to the country, if they want to come in through the ports. That's what we've heard. We heard it from Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen. We've heard it from the President of the United States. What is really happening at the ports is they're not being allowed. There have been, I've witnessed it, other members of Congress have witnessed it, journalists have witnessed it, lawyers have witnessed it, where they're being told essentially there's no room. You cannot come in. And what that is a reference to is the holding facilities at the bridge, that there's not enough room. But what happens is, and here's the deep frustration that I feel. So instead of allocating resources to process people who are legally claiming asylum. These folks end up back in Mexico in conditions that are desperate and dangerous. They end up presenting themselves between ports. They end up going to west of the ports of entry, areas where we have a wall, or sometimes they've ended up over at Antelope Wells in southern New Mexico, where there are fewer resources. In fact, I think at Antelope Wells there are like 7 Border Patrol agents. So they get pushed out to those areas where there are fewer agents, fewer resources. We then have to, the federal government then has to send buses to those rural areas to transport the asylum seekers who presented themselves, to transport them back to an urban area where they presented in the first place. So it doesn't make sense to me that what we're spending on transportation costs, the stressors that we're putting on agents, instead of using those resources in a much more effective and strategic way. And so this is one of the long list of suggestions, complaints, call it what you'll call it, that I've provided the Department of Homeland Security, and that has been written about over and over again as you see people witnessing this. It is, again, deeply troubling to see that things that could be done to make processes easier, smoother, more strategic, so you have to sign up, okay, are being rejected.
Pertenezco al grupo de muros de arrastre. Yo tengo 13 años sin ver a mi familia, mis tíos, a mi hermana. Yo vengo ahorita desde Hubs.
She's also a participant in Hubs Not Walls, and it's been 13 years since she has seen her family.
Y por tener con la ilusión perdí mi trabajo. Bueno, pedí día para ver esto y con lo que está pasando.
She asked for time off to be able to participate in the
Mis
event.
niños perdieron la escuela, también ayer por venir y a participar en este
The kids in
evento
schools in order to be here to see her family, participate
para
in
que
the
lo
event.
cancelaran eso por las leyes de Mr. Trump.
Yeah, in order to cancel. And voy a darle la respuesta en español. Desafortunadamente nosotros no somos parte del proceso de nuestra oficina. No supe hasta que recibimos las noticias y me da mucha pena porque yo sé que este evento es uno que es importante para las familias, para tener reuniones, breves reuniones, pero vamos a investigar. Okay? So I shared with her that our office is not part of the planning process for the event. We learned about the cancellation of the event after the event was canceled, but we will look into it. I think these events are very important. They're important not just for the practical purpose of reuniting families who have not seen each other in a long time. And those reunions, although they are very brief, are very powerful. But I think symbolically also, those events are very important. I'm just going to say one last time. We're here for civic and civil engagement. We're not going to yell out at each other. We're going to engage positively. Anyone who wants to speak, I'll say this for the third time, there's a sign-up sheet. We're going to stay until 11:30. And we'd like to answer everyone's questions, but we all need to engage in a way. There's children here, there's families here. We all want to be proud of the process that we are a part of.
John Sandiver, Jesse Ellis, and Jesus Herrera.
Good morning.
Good morning, Congresswoman. I want to start by thanking you for the grace and compassion that you brought to your work on border and immigration issues. You've really been a standing voice for uplifting the values of El Paso and the values of this country in a really challenging moment. You know, I got a chance to tour the new CBP holding facility at the El Paso station last week, and it was just a reiteration of the fact that this administration We always seem to find the resources, we always seem to find the personnel to do things that dehumanize people, that degrade people, but never that uplift them, that present them with opportunities, that uphold the values that have made of America a land of opportunity. The fact that those people who are not criminals being held on administrative charges are put in these tents that are constructed like jails is deeply, deeply unnerving. It says something that really should make us make some deep soul searches about who we are as a country, whether the sorts of things that we're doing, that the government is doing, really reflect who we are. And I know that you've offered legislation that pushes back against this. You introduced an accountability bill to present transparency and oversight from CBP, and ICE, and USCIS. It's badly needed, and that again is a reflection of this community, of our experiences and our values. You have a forthcoming piece of legislation to end the Remain in Mexico program. And my question is, what can we do to help you advance this? What can we do to get field hearings on these bills here at the border with the government?
So thank you for that question. We are working on trying to get field hearings in El Paso. We think it's very important, again, that as many members of Congress as possible come to the community and to listen to the broad range of voices that we have here. So stay tuned on the field hearings. In terms of the legislation, again, we are passing bipartisan legislation. Not all of it is bipartisan, and it's not bipartisan by large swaths of bipartisanship, that's for sure. So I don't want to, create this image that there's a kumbaya sense in the House of Representatives, because there's not. But there are, we have some bipartisan support, and we are passing bills that are important to the American people out of the House. We are struggling with the Senate side. And to not have hearings, to not have debates, that is undemocratic. I think the American people deserve to have these debates. The American people need to have these discussions. It's not going to happen if you have stonewalling coming from our Senate side. So I would encourage folks, if you feel strongly about it, I think you should reach out to your U.S. senators as well. Okay? Good morning.
John Van Deeper? No? Okay, we'll go to the next question.
Hi, good morning, Congresswoman Escobar. My name is Jesse. And my question has nothing to do with border policy. My question actually has to do with the Veterans Administration. I'm a medically retired combat veteran of 8 years. I was retired on March 8th of 2014 and granted 100% individual unemployability at that time. To date, it has been over 5 years that I've actually been paid the 100% rate. So it has affected my life greatly. The Veterans Administration has not been paying me correctly for over 5 years now. I've been through so many forums and so many other avenues of trying to seek help in dealing with the Veterans Administration, and they have not been helpful to me at all in my case. So my question is, my case is very unique and complex, and I'm asking if I can have a moment of your time at a later date to provide the evidence that I have collected in regards to this.
First of all, Jesse, thank you for your service. I want you to know that one of the things that I've learned in my short tenure in office is that you are not alone in your frustration. And so a quick question, was there a case opened for you? Have you gone through my predecessor's office yet? or not yet?
I just recently contacted your office the other day. I filled out the authorization and I provided all my documents to them.
Okay, so we've opened the case on you. Definitely want to meet with you and talk about it, learn more about it. And so we'll make sure that that casework advances. But thank you for your service. We'll do everything we can to help you. Thank you.
And we're going to the last speaker, Jesus Herrera.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
You check my notes because real lawyers check notes and take notes. I'm a big fan of the talking heads on TV, specifically MSNBC. I will confess that. Someone last night referred to the fact that a lot of the people in this country are exhausted with all of that which is going on with the White House, the clash of Congress, the inactivity of the Senate, and of course the obstruction, stonewalling, or whatever you want to call it a ham sandwich if you wish, that's going on within Washington. The people are exhausted. And maybe asking you and your colleagues, can you legislate, walk, and chew gum at the same time? Can you get anything done other than concentrating and focusing on what is going on in the White House? I was particularly happy and gratified to see you appointed to the Judiciary Committee. I have a personal stake in that. Of course, I'm a judge, as you know. And I was gratified to hear that you were appointed first time around, first year out, to such a significant committee, in addition to the Armed Services Committee, which we seem to have always had a vote looking out for our veterans, gentlemen such as the one that just spoke. Can you focus on health, job creation, the economy, our border situation, and still focus on the matters that appear to be a significant assault on the Constitution, constitutional principles, and the division of powers, and the issue of our country having been attacked by an enemy? Can you do all those things at the same time?
Thank you so much for your question. And I will tell you, I feel kind of the same exhaustion. It is, and I have gotten to the point where I feel like I almost even have to stop watching the news because I'm living this constantly, day after day after day on Capitol Hill. And it's, you know, I worry for our country about how worn out people are going to get. And I don't want people to disengage, and I don't want people to feel disillusioned. And I want more people to engage and to participate and be a part of the process in a meaningful, productive way. And so I'm going to ask you one last time, if you'll please sign up. I would love to get to your question, but you've got to sign up. Thank you. So your question is about the essentially two duties that are contained in our Article 1 responsibility: legislation and oversight. We don't have a choice. As much as we would like to have a choice, we don't have a choice for whether we provide oversight or not. And the example that I created, okay, you're so right. Let's pause.
America first! They work for us, not for them.
You're very welcome to be here as long as you can engage in a positive way.
There's a question. I think the question is, you guys had it, that person on this side, but there was no variety.
Thank you for being here.
But that's the rule, Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So what time do you guys put the sign in? What and usually like today's event has 10 right? So you have to go to Okay. All right, well, that's good.
And again, I'll tell you just before I get to this question, this is unfortunately what happens when we refuse to have dialogue in a productive way. And I think it's so important, again, and I'll tell you, again, whether we agree or disagree, you all, we have to engage in a way that is productive. The example that we're setting for kids is that yelling and screaming and attacking one another is acceptable in our country. The norms of our nation are being changed right before our eyes. And each one of us has an obligation and a responsibility to reject impulses that are not productive, that are not helpful, that only seek to further divide us. Our country is in a really dark place. It's in a really, really dark place. It's going to be up to all of us. I truly believe that El Paso has the power to be exemplary in this. We have the power to bring forward solutions and to engage in ways that we can make each other proud, whether we agree or not, where we can be proud of one another, shake hands, and not yell at each other, and not treat each other.
Do you guys want me to go outside and record that, or no? Anthony's probably recording it. I'll stay inside here to record the rest of it. If you want to watch Anthony's feed, go to Conservative Anthony.
To get to a disability group on the other side of town.
I'll go ahead and stay in here.
I did at the last town hall. We stayed for an additional hour and a half, but this time, unfortunately, I cannot. We have to do both, Judge. We have to, and we're able to do it. I need to start having like a running list of all of the bills that we have put through committee, that we have put through markup, that we have debated on the floor, that we have passed, and that we have delivered to the Senate side. I asked one of my colleagues the other day, a couple of weeks ago, I told this story, another member of Congress, I told him, oh my gosh, like, we have 5 committee hearings a week. I have meetings, if you saw my calendar, I'll have 3 meetings at a time. And so I'm like running into room to room to room. I'm literally between subcommittee hearings, running from one floor to the next in order to participate in all these hearings. I asked him, this is nuts, is this how it always happens? And he said, no, this has not happened in the preceding 6 years on the House side. And so it is evidence of our desire to push as much of the American agenda as we can on health care, on guns, on immigration. And we are cranking them out, Judge, but our obligation also, and this is for the sake of our democracy, this is for the sake of preserving the Constitution, we have to provide oversight. We expect that in local government. You all know that we expect that in local government. If we don't have good governance in local government, we all end up outraged, as we should. Because even in local government, we should expect city council, school board, commissioners court, all of these local governmental bodies, we expect them to have oversight over our tax dollars, making sure we're fighting corruption, making sure that we are protecting and preserving and defending our oath, but at the same time we expect results. We expect schools to run, we expect roads to be built, we expect courts to run. If local governments can do it, surely the U.S. Congress can. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Well, you all, so I've got to run to the far east side for my next event. I want to thank you all very much for being here. I want to tell you what a privilege it is for me to serve. And for those of us who may not see eye to eye, I do want to engage in productive dialogue. I think we all want to find a good solution. We may not agree on the path, but I think we all want a good solution. Thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day.
All right, let's go outside and look at the circus. Let's go check it out. That's what they Oh, it says he got kicked out of the building. Yeah. I'll catch up with you on Facebook. Sounds good. Oh, this way. Thank you, guys. Let's see what's going on over here. All right, guys. Apparently, some members walked out of the event. The audience. We're gonna go see what's going on out here. Okay, they didn't detain him. They just threw him out of the building. And all the other conservative patriots, border patriots, they all walked out. So it was interesting. So I talked to, her name is Diana Ramos, Director of Constituent Services, and I asked her how this works. She said, you got to get here early to put your name on a list for questions. Yes. She said they open an hour before the event starts. So, example, today was 10 a.m. The doors open at 9 a.m. and that's when you start putting your questions on the list. And from what I understand, they were not scripted questions. They were just people's names on a list that are being permitted to ask. But you have to come and get your name on the list first. So, you know, it's understandable. You can only ask so many questions, especially if you have some other things going on. Whether she does or not, I can't certify that. But, I mean, I don't think it's a lie. I would imagine she does have a lot of things going on. But this is just something for you guys to understand. There's processes. There's processes that these events have for the very reason of keeping order. And I get the frustration. I mean, it was hard for me to listen to some of those questions and see none of the members on the right side here get any questions in. But it's the way the process is. So now you just have to show up early and get the questions, get your name on the list as soon as the door opens. And that way you can have your chance to speak. It's the way it works. It's the process. We're not going to change the process. We got to learn how to work with the process. So that's my advice for next time. You got to get in early. You got to get in to put your name on the list. If you can get your name on the list, then you can have a question asked. So I get it. I understand the frustration. So Anthony's addressing the media.
Relentlessly attacking, and now trying to investigate what he did 10 years ago.
Yes.
I don't care what he did 10 years ago.
Yes.
I know he's not a saint. I know he's not Jesus. I want him, and I want results. That's what we're all wanting. We're voting with our pockets.
Yes.
We need America first. Enough of illegals before Americans. We're becoming a minority in our own country, and we have to stand up and motivate and push people around us to take initiative in your communities and not let these crazy agendas come in through your schools. It all starts at your schools. Your kids are being indoctrinated to the point that when they get older, we will not be able to change their minds. They're being manipulated into the system.
Brainwashed.
Stop letting your kids get social.
One quick second. Veronica Escobar apparently is not familiar with federal law. She said that the Attorney General is being held in contempt because he will not furnish the entire unredacted grand jury testimony is prohibited from being released by federal law. Either the legal counsel or Congress does not know that, or she does not know that.
We'll see if I can interview some of these people on the other side over here, see what their thoughts are. I'm curious because it's an interesting event happening. Let's go talk to some people and see what they think. I don't know if anybody will answer, but let's go see what their thoughts are about the town hall.
God, I know. Hey, I quit.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey,
So
it's for your
called
generation. I have a daughter. How old are you guys?
I'm 14.
Okay, I'm a 19-year-old.
I'm 17.
Yeah, so I'm really tuned in to
I'm an old lady.
Hi.
But, you know, we want to hear the issues.
What did you think about the town hall? What did you think? Was it good? Do you think Veronica did a good job allowing people questions? What did you think about that group over there? Any comments?
Nothing to say. We're not. I mean, we come peacefully.
Yeah.
All we wanted to do is come show support.
Yeah. So this little girl, her dad lives in Mexico.
Yeah.
And they didn't because of the hugs thing. Why did they? Do you know why it got canceled? Anybody know why it got canceled?
We honestly don't understand. Everything was fine. Everything was with green light. We were all ready for the event for Saturday. And 2 days before the event, they said, you know what? Frankly, not.
They didn't say they're going to move it to another day. They just said
they said not for right now.
Okay.
Like they don't have a date. They don't really want to cooperate right now. Basically, they're just like shutting us the opportunity. I mean, it's just a friendly. I don't know why they make it seem like it's a threat that it's gonna make people cross and stuff. It's like people are crossing every day.
Yeah.
Whether they have the event or not.
Okay. And this is your daughter, your niece, or
My daughter.
is your daughter? Okay. And daddy's over on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully you guys get to see him soon.
They're being mean to me.
No, they're being mean to you. What? You felt like they were treating you bad? Yeah. Okay.
They're
Sorry.
being mean to me when I'm Mexican and my dad Mexican.
That's okay.
She's just not to understand.
Yeah, I know. It's well.
No,
I,
I'm 7 years old, Mom.
she was hoping to see her dad. That's all.
yeah, I know.
That's why she's so sad.
Yeah. It's a 1 year time of year event. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you guys get to see him soon.
Thank
All right.
you.
You guys have a good day.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. That's what we're doing.
Can I take a picture of that one?
Absolutely. Send me that picture.
You're going to hold it. What are you wearing?
Yeah, let's take, who
What
wants
are
to
you
wear it?
wearing? I wanna wear it.
Okay, wear it. We'll take, there you
Wait,
go.
this is
Wait, what is this for barbecuing?
No. Keep
Oh.
it, no, it could be. It's
You
for
could,
the
right?
kitchen. Yeah, no, you work in the
Oh,
kitchen.
okay,
It's prep work. You can take it in the car when you're driving and eating.
Okay.
Take out food. You can use it at the dining table. You can give it to your parents, and they'll
Okay.
figure out a nice way to use it. Anyone can use these. They're
And what's the message in
the
it?
message is we're creating a movement that we're starting on Kickstarter starting Thursday.
Okay.
And it's Keep It Clean for 2020 campaign. We plan to send one to each member of Congress to let them know we, the voters, want issues. We don't want bashing. We want to keep this rhetoric clean. We want our children to benefit from hearing positive messages. We're sending positive messages. Like, we're tired of all this negativity. We want to clean it up. And this is the way. This is to remind people.
Fantastic.
Keep it clean.
Right,
Keep
because
your
ultimately
rhetoric.
it's the issues we care about.
Yeah, well, you know what?
And stop. We don't want to hear name calling.
You
we
know
don't want to hear
what?
bashing.
We're just tired. We tell our kids not to name call. Why should the adults do
Sure,
that?
sure.
So we want our kids growing up
Okay.
hearing that they can be part of the solution, not
And-
to just name, call
Yeah.
somebody a bad
Okay,
name.
and you guys are selling these?
Yeah, we're
How much are
selling
these?
$20.
Okay.
$20.20.
Okay.
Yeah, who are you with?
I'm just a guy on
You know
Facebook
what?
streaming.
We're doing a Kickstarter. We'd like for you to pass this on. Let me give you our card.
Okay.
Pass this on to your
Sure.
friends. Our Kickstarter is starting on Thursday. We need your age group.
My age group, I'm older than you think. Believe
No,
me.
you're not. You look young and you look like you're...
You need all age groups, really.
Yeah,
but
we do.
You need their age groups, the young ones.
They're our
I'm-
Kenya Teal group.
My back is killing me. I got to sit down.
Okay,
that's my age group.
I don't want to hear it. But, we're on Kickstarter. We're Kickstarter. Go
Okay,
on Kickstarter
fantastic.
on Thursday.
And what is
Be a
your
part
name?
of it. It's right there.
It's on the card?
It's on the card. I'm
Okay.
Benita, and this is Liz.
Fantastic. I will put this out and see if we can get
And
more
you
views.
are?
I'm Ben Carnivale.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you. Ben, another Ben. We
There's
wanna-
Bens everywhere.
Ben, promise,
Oh, there you go.
promise to put it to good use. What
Yeah,
we want
absolutely.
is good things
Good.
to happen from this for everybody.
Fantastic.
We need help. We need
Okay.
everybody to promote it.
All right. Thank you,
Great.
guys. All
Thank
right.
you, Ben.
Bye-bye.
Great running into you.
Have a good
Take
day.
care. You too.
All right, the Kickstarter, so they can get people to stop name calling and Congress to start doing their jobs. Hi. What did you think about the talk today and the Patriots walking out of the meeting? Any thoughts? Any ideas? Any comments? No? Did you like what Veronica had to say?
Sí, pero ahí iba yo caminando con mi
No comments, no comments. Hey, good questions, man.
Thank you.
How did you think the thing went, the event went?
I mean, I think the event went well.
Did you get your question answered the way you thought it would appropriately?
Yeah.
You felt it was a good response?
Yes.
All right, guys. Have a good day. All right. Hello. Have a good day. All right, I think the event is empty now. People are walking away. Seems to be peaceful for the most part. Let's go back over here to see what the situation is. Seems like they're dispersing. How did you guys think everything went in there?
How do you think it? Tell us. What do you think?
Well, I understand the process. Like I spoke to the constituent, this one, Diana Ramos, and that's what I'm suggesting. She said that the way it works is the order of questions goes first come, first serve, and they put people's names on the list as soon as the door is open. So if you're up front, for example, they opened the show started at 10, the show, right? Doors opened at 9, and so the idea was people get here at 9 o'clock to get their names, if we can get here earlier, we can get the name on, and of course the ones who were here earliest got there first. And as far as the time for asking questions, I think it could be a little longer, and she could have pushed her other meeting back a little bit. I think that would have been fair to get at least some questions from this side. Yeah, because it was really just a one-sided situation, and that's unfortunate. But now that we know how it works, we can get here earlier, and when the door opens, and put names down, so that way we can get questions. Were you here? Yeah.
I got here a little bit late, but there was other people that got here early.
Okay.
And they were in Bronx.
Okay. So maybe we can check the list. I'll check the list next. I guess when we get to see the list. I guess we can probably ask for a list, see if they skipped anybody. I mean,
They're not going to show that.
Maybe you should ask. See if they choose not to show us.
Even raising your hands where it gets you.
Yeah. That's. I don't know. I mean, I get it though. I get it. I mean, if she has something else, she should have pushed that meeting back a little, at least another hour to give everybody a chance. Because I think I felt it felt rushed. Yeah. You know, and I totally get the frustration because it was just constant one side speaking. But it.
No, I had working out to save you. I'll let you talk about.
Yes.
Thank you.
Who are you with?
Are you recording today?
I am recording everything out here. Are you the media? Are you a member of the? You are, but you don't want to tell us who you're with. That's odd. Are you from the United States media, like Huffington Post or something like this? Do you have a business card that we could see? Do you know who she is?
No, she didn't tell me either.
You don't want to tell us who you are? We want to read your article. That's how I got viewers that might be interested in hearing what you have to say.
You're independent.
I'm an independent Facebook reporter. Yeah, I don't affiliate. So, what kind of questions are you asking them? I'm just just how they're doing and. You have a foreign accent.
I don't want that.
Okay.
This is against the law.
Yeah, this is a public. Okay, well, this is a public space right here. This is a school district which is funded by my tax money. This is funded by my tax dollars right here. So I'm permitted to record anything and everything that happens here. Like you see that dog right there, I could film that cute puppy in this, and because you're in the same parking lot, but we're not in New York, we're in Texas. That's the difference. So you're a foreigner, you don't understand the laws, right?
I am an American citizen.
Okay.
I am not.
But you don't have a business card to tell us who you're with?
Business card.
I told you my.
The law
You're officer. You see this?
Against the law.
You see her?
To me.
I'm asking her for I'm asking her for her name because she's asking questions. So I'm an independent reporter also, and she's saying don't ask her questions, don't talk to her. But she's doing the same to me.
Recording to me. No, I am not doing this. I was asking to permission.
Go ahead, thank you. She doesn't understand the laws. All right, everybody, you see that? I'm trying to get information, and I get the what ignored. Amazing.
Besides that, we are Americans, and she's playing.
How you doing, brother? Keep up, man. What did you think? Did you go? Were you inside?
I was inside. I was too late to get there.
Yeah. It was a short meeting. I thought it would go a little bit longer, but unfortunately, Veronica said she had another meeting to go to,
Really?
and they only asked 6 questions, and they were all the way the process works is you get here early. They open the door at 9, so if you get here at 9, you can ask a question. You can put your name on a list. First come, first serve. It's not a different group kind of thing. It's a queue. Yeah, so if people want to get their questions in, they have to get here really early. Yeah. What's this? Yeah, what's this guy's? Is a guy? It's a boy.
Yeah,
The boy.
boy.
What's his name?
His name's Spud.
Spud.
Yeah, like Spud McKenzie.
It's a cute outfit. Look at Spud.
Yeah, I rescued him over in Santa Teresa.
Awesome.
He's
man.
been my boy ever since.
Cool. How old is he?
He's already. I think he's already like 8 or 7.
Is he? He looks great, man.
He's a lot better when he used to be skin and bones full of
that
teachers because someone just left him out there in Santa Teresa in the desert just to die.
Yeah, no, he's a good.
I drove late at night and I found him.
Awesome.
I rescued him.
That's great, man. That's a great story,
That's why I
man.
love going out in the desert.
Find the
You can
pups.
find
Yeah.
anything. You know, I even found 20 books out there once.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. He looks like a good pup, man. Good for you.
He's been very good. He's
Awesome.
always been loyal to me. So I love him.
Fantastic, man. All right, man. Good talking to you, bro. So this reporter here with the police officer will not tell us who she was with or what her affiliation was.
She claims she's with Spain.
Well, that's what I asked her. I asked her. I said your accent sounds like foreign. So what are you with? Anybody in particular? And she wouldn't. In fact, she told me it was against the law to record her. But I schooled her on Texas law and how we're on a public school area and public spot, and she didn't like it. So she grabbed my device, and then the officer came and took her away. So she doesn't want to. She wants to ask questions, but she doesn't want to answer questions. Right? It's always a one-way road.
Putting her in timeout for a little bit.
Yeah, they're putting her in timeout because she needs to learn how it works in America with questions.
She was walking off.
Yeah. She didn't want to say anything. All right. All right, guys. Well, it looks like this event's over with. Looks like. I think people are getting ready to leave, and I don't know. The Patriots are going to go on a different trip. Looks like this stream is just about over, guys. I'm checking. I don't see. Oh. All right, everybody. That's it for this event. We're going to go ahead and shut it down, and you can go watch more on Anthony's stream. Firsthand, you can see what happened as he walked out. I stayed the last few minutes, so you can go check that out. But guys, thanks for watching. Share the stream. It's the Veronica Escobar's town hall meeting. That's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and summarize it and close it down here. Thanks for watching.